Hello, friends and viewers. Welcome back to SPD Show. I am Peter Sunday, and today I have on the show Barrister Gloria Omotayo, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. If you remember, she was here 2 months ago. She's intellectual property and a business lawyer all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for coming back to the show. I know that since the last time I have you on this show, we've had a lot of messages, a lot of questions. People are really confused about the photography right, image right, and some other issues that we are going to discuss today. And I'm very, very excited to have you back on this show. We are going to dive straight into the business of the day. And the first question that I have today for you is, what are the importance of image watermarking?
Okay. Okay, basically, watermarking your work as a photographer. Watermarking your work, just first thing is to show pride in what you have done. You are proud of your creativity. So you want anyone that comes across that work to know that yes, this is from ABC photography. This can be identified with this photographer or with this photography company. That's one. Then secondly, the importance of watermarking your own photography or your own work of photography is for people to easily refer you, to lay easy reference to your work. Now, imagine you have your name boldly written on an image and then it travels far and wide. In this age of digital technology and all of that, someone posts your work on social media and they see your name, for instance, XPD, written boldly, watermarked on that image. Even when they would look for you. So it's a way of dragging audience back to you.
Okay.
Even when you can't be there, even when you can't speak for yourself, your watermark speaks for your brand. It speaks on behalf of you. So that's basically the reason why most photographers should watermark, or that's the importance rather of watermarking your photograph work. Yes.
So it's more like branding your production, like your creativity, your branding your.
Yes, exactly. You got that right. It's like branding,
Yeah.
identifying your work with that brand. Yes, that's it.
If a photographer is paid for
Yes.
a service that
Yes.
is rendered to his or her clients,
Yes.
can the photographer watermark the photos on their social media? That is the
Okay.
question. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
thanks
Barrister.
very much. Thank you, Peter. That's a really broad question and it's an interesting topic, really. It's caused a lot of debates, and I've answered this several times, but I'm going to just deal with this right here, right now.
Okay.
Yes, a photographer can watermark a photo that he has been paid for. However, there is a two-edged sword. Yeah, so there are two sides to it. So I can say yes and I can say no. The first part of it is, if you have been paid in full
Mm-hmm.
and everything still has to do with contract. I keep telling people you need a business attorney for every deal you do. You need to get it in writing. So your contract is one that determines what your situation will be. So in the event that a photographer gets into a contract with his client and the contract expressly states that this client has paid in full, an outright purchase is called an outright purchase. If this client has paid in full for that work, the copyright ownership now transfers from the photographer. Ordinarily it should be in the photographer, but in this at this particular point in time, where there's a contract between the photographer and his client, that photography rights has shifted from the photographer to his client, then the photographer should not watermark that photo, because at that very point when you sign that agreement, you lose all copyright in that image. Whereas, and this, bear in mind that this outright purchase is not really common. Most people don't do that. The usual thing you have is you go to a photography studio, you take a photo,
Mm-hmm.
and then you pay for it, but copyright still remains in the photographer, because photographer still has copyright in that. So in instances where there is no express agreement as to who owns the entire image, the original copyright resides in the photographer, and at that point he can decide to watermark his photo for the purpose of his business. Now, I don't think the issue, I would like to go further, I beg your pardon. I don't think the main issue here should be whether you should watermark your photo or you should not. I think what people are not even focused on is right to privacy. This is where image right now comes in. You watermarking your photo shows that, okay, you are the owner of the work and you want everyone to know it's yours. But have you considered, as a photographer, the rights to privacy of your clients? Because there are times where some people take photos and they do not want you to publicize it at all. So you need to first of all seek their permission. So what's important is you actually have to seek the permission of your client before putting up their picture on social media, whether it is watermarked or not. So now, when you don't get the permission to even post this work of yours, should your issue now be watermarking it or not? Because first of all, you need to actually post this work. Am I communicating? Are you following
Yes.
me, Peter? All right.
Yes,
So
please.
I think what's more important right now is, should you post your work without permission? That is wrong. That can land you a lawsuit. You may get fined or even a jail term. Because if you take my image, even after you shot it, yes, you are the photographer, but I did not authorize you to display my work on social media or any platform whatsoever. That's
Okay.
an issue. So to be on the safe side, I mean, watermarking your work, yes, you can do that as a photographer, but what should come to your mind? Due diligence. First of all, request for the permission of your client. And then this is really broad. I don't know if
Then,
I'm
yeah, that,
diverting or I'm delving out of the main issue. There's something they call the model release form. I'm sure you're familiar with that in the United States.
yes.
When you're taking a photo of a model, right,
Yes.
and you need to publicize that photo, and then you ask this model, hey, after this photo shoot, I would like to publicize, and the model says, oh, why not, go ahead with it. That's oral. Yes, that may be binding, but to be safe, get a model release form. So let it be written down expressly. I have transferred rights. I've allowed you, I've permitted you as a photographer to publicize, to use this image for the purpose of your business, for the purpose of creating awareness. Write out the terms. A contract is never too much. You can write as many pages as possible. Write down the terms expressly, and you need an attorney to do that for you. Don't just go ahead, pick up something, especially if you're not familiar with some of these words. But it's important that you get a model release signed by the model and yourself, authorizing you to use the image taken. Yes, you own copyright in that, but there are so many other rights, such as the image rights, auxiliary to photographers' rights. You need permission, and you need it to be inviting. It's better to be safe, I mean, than to be sorry.
From what I can deduce from what we have said,
Yes,
so watermarking image is not even the problem here,
yes,
but the permission to post it. What is the point
yes,
of posting something in the first place that you don't even have permission, let alone you are
exactly,
putting
exactly,
a watermark on it? So
exactly. I'm glad you got my
watermark
point.
is good. You can use watermark on a paid job only
Yes,
if you get a proper
the permission
permission
from the
from
client.
the client that I'm going to use
Yes,
these photos for my self promotion or for my
exactly.
business promotion or for my business advertisement. Then, so in that, even in that situation, you should still offer them a release form just to cover your own
Yes, I
business.
just to
That
cover yourself. So
yes,
it's
to
going to be
cover
in
yourself.
writing. That's
It's
your
going to be in
proof in the
writing,
event that
and
there's an issue.
they sign it to
They
you,
sign it, both parties sign, the photographer and the
and
model. Yes.
yeah, so they sign it to
So
you.
that's
Then you should be
binding.
able to post it on your
Social media or
social
whatever
media.
platform online.
Wow. If I took a picture of a model in front
Yes.
of a building, in front of,
Yes.
let's say, McDonald's, for example,
Okay.
a model want to pose in front of McDonald's, and I get the model release form fill and
Yes.
sign to me to be able to post the picture
That.
on my social media. At that
Yeah.
point, can I go ahead and post this picture?
Okay. That's an interesting and very, very intelligent question. I mentioned earlier that you need a model release form. Well, that's for the human being in that picture. And I like the fact that you went out of the box. I'll call it out of the box. I believe it's because you're a photographer. Yes, there are times you take pictures of individuals in front of or beside or in a public place or a private place, not a public place in this instance, like McDonald's that you mentioned. That's a brand on its own. So aside the model release form, you need a property release form from McDonald's. Yes, it's technical. You may think you're just a photographer by passion, or you're doing your job and you're just taking a photo of the person, but you can land yourself a lawsuit or get to be fined if you do not seek permission from McDonald's and get not just permission from anyone, because you may walk in there and get permission from a staff, and that may not be enough. You should get a property release form.
Wow.
So aside the model release form, you need a property release form. Yes. So you can't just go to McDonald's, or you go to a restaurant, a popular restaurant, or a really popular hotel, and then you just take a photo of someone. Now you're not taking a photo of the place, you're taking a photo of someone right in front of that outlet without seeking their permission, because these are well-known brands.
Hmm.
You can see that sometimes they have their logo, they have their name, which is trademarked already.
Yeah.
This is going further beyond image rights, and it has gone to the level of infringement on trademark rights, because this is a brand and you are taking a photo of someone in front of that place without. No, that's an offense. That's really wrong, and you shouldn't. No photographer should do that. Even if it's just a little portion of the building that's going to appear in your photo, you need to seek permission. And don't just do it, like I said earlier, this oral thing. You may do an oral agreement, but it's better to be safe with a written agreement. So you get a property release form from
Wow.
that place.
Thank you so much, Barrister. And to our
Yes.
viewers in the house, this is going to be the end of today's show. Thank you for
Okay.
watching. It's your host again. I'm Peter Sunday of Expydemedia.